Hello and welcome to Intuitive Insights. My name is Megan McDonough and I am an intuitive guide and your host today, where I bring forth universal messages that are coming through in hopes that you can use them for you. All right, who else here feels like they might have been going through a meat grinder a little bit in the last few weeks? Oh my goodness, there's been so much coming through, so many messages about letting go and refining and releasing things that no longer serve. But these things feel like they've been trapped in the past, like really kind of like old little wrinkles in our times, in our bodies, right? And they have roots there. These sources of protection or sources of fear or sources of anxiety or not feeling enough or not knowing what to grab onto, what to hold onto. And they're showing up, or they've been showing up in the last few weeks, a lot for me personally, and I'm also seeing it in others through readings. And it's like the universe is asking us to redefine, re-envision our essence without the labels that we've grown accustomed to or that we rely on as part of our identity. There's a few things that I've been thinking about lately. One, have you ever seen a dog try and go through like a dog? I've been using this analogy a lot lately. So I feel like what the universal energy is that's happening right now is like, you know, when a dog gets a really long like branch and it's like so happy, it's like trotting along, they're so happy with their prize of this like ginormous branch. And they just want to bring it into the house and just celebrate it, right? But they go through the doggy door. And as they go through the doggy door with the branch in their mouth, they can't get through the doggy door. And so they keep trying to get through the doggy door and trying to get through the doggy door. And they can't figure out why they can't get through the doggy door, no matter what they do with this branch in their mouth. And so how I've been feeling and what I've been envisioning is like this kind of hourglass shape of like a wormhole, as it were, right? And at the top where it's nice and wide, that's us carrying the branches, long ass branches of our identities, insecurities, fears, anxieties, dilemmas, things that don't serve us any longer. And the energy on the other side of this hourglass figure, this kind of portal-like shape, where it narrows towards the middle and then opens up again towards the other side, is like pulling us through. And it's pulling us through, but we've got that stupid stick in our mouths. And we can't get through the portal without releasing it. And we're going to get pulled through either way. So we can either make it really difficult for ourselves and hang on to that branch, that stick in our mouths, hang on to all the things that we rely on as our identities, insecurities, whatever. Or we can just let go. If you've ever gone surfing or tried to surf or attempted to surf, which by the way, I've attempted several times and it is by far one of my favorite things I've ever tried. Never really good at it, but so many lessons in the attempting, you know? But one of them, surfing or even just being in the ocean. And when a big wave comes at you and he basically just clobbers you. And what you're supposed to do in that instance is to just let go and allow the water to flow around you, allow its pressure to move you, as it were, until it dissipates enough so you can come up for air and find your way back to the surface. So the energy that I've been experiencing lately, and I don't feel like we're 100%, I feel like we're just on the other side of the kind of narrow part of this tunnel-like shape or hourglass-like shape, is trusting that letting go a bit. Because that letting go requires trust. It requires all the trust. You know, there was something else that I've been marinating on, and it's the idea. So if we all can agree, so let's all agree, that change is the only constant in life, the only thing you can rely on in this lifetime is change. Everything's going to change. So if we can all agree that that's true, why is it that we all yearn for consistency? And we look for it in different ways. You know, if I do A, B, C, and D, then everything's going to be the same and it won't change and I will be happy and I won't have to move. I won't have to grow. I just have to be where I am. And, you know, there are no external factors disrupting my peace, because if I can know things, then I feel safe, right? Or whatever the thought or psychology is behind it. But what I was contemplating on, marinating on recently, is that it's not that we're seeking stability or trying to create consistency in a world filled with change. It's that we're yearning to be reconnected to the source self, to our soul self, to the eternal self, which is consistent, which is everlasting. And we don't know how to do it. I feel like in ancient philosophies, the yoga is one that I've studied. Obviously, I've looked at a lot of other ones and explored just in my geek out, you know, genres. But you know, there's disciplines that ancient wisdom has put in place for staying consistent in the body, consistent in the mind, minimizing and balancing the ego, listening to the higher self as a peek into the source of connection to the eternal self. But we're stuck in this like 3D world of external stimuli that pulls us away from that focus. In yoga, they say that yoga is when the mind stops becoming distracted so that it can be focused on union. Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is when the modifications of the mind cease so that the mind can find union. The soul can find union. But we are in a world of constant change. So we constantly have to show up to combat those changes with external consistency and internal consistency to get back on that vibrational plane of our soul self, our universal self, our eternal self, in its vibration so that we can magnetize right back to it. Yoga has laid out in the Patanjali Sutras and Hatha Yoga and many other cultures and ancient cultures have laid out ways in which to, like a roadmap and how to do that. Some of us are born into this skin, coming from past lives that were adept on those journeys. So our journeys are not as difficult. Some of us are the opposite. And we got a lot to learn, I've been finding that I have a lot to learn, and I'm being shown all the ways in which I need to learn. Especially when I start to feel like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good. I got this, It's like the universe is like, hold on, sister. I got another one coming for you. Like, chill out. You got a lot longer to go. I'm at like mile 1 of a marathon and I'm like, woohoo, I did mile 1. I'm amazing. I got this. And, it's like, yeah, you're not even close. You know what I mean? Ay, ay, ay. So I want to lead you through this visual that I had recently, and it was just so crazy wonderful that I want it crazy in the best way. Wild is another more probably appropriate word. It was a meditation, and it just, for me, summed up what this energy that's happening, this kind of going through that portal hourglass shape. And it, for me, I don't know how you feel, but and please, tell me in the comments, reach out to me. I'd love to know when we speak to each other about these types of things. That just kind of reassures to us all that we're not alone, and that it reignites our connection to this side of ourselves. And I feel like it's so important. Our soul's health is just as important as our mental health, our physical health, and our emotional health. Our creative health is so important. And the creative health and the intuitive health go together, and they get ignited by joy. Joy from smelling a flower that you love. Joy from gardening, if you love that. Joy from expressing yourself verbally, artistically, going for a run, being out in nature, if you live by the ocean, just looking at a sunset or just putting your feet in the sand as the waves come back and forth. Playing music. Getting lost in creation and turning that brain off. All those things are so important, so important. So, the visual that I received and explored recently that I'm going to take you on a little journey with this week. And so just find yourself in a comfortable position if you're able to. Just start by taking a few deep breaths. You know, the body is always in the moment. The body doesn't worry about the past or the future or regret the past and worry about the future. The body is in the moment. The mind is what takes us all over the map. And so the mind is the thing that needs training. Yes, we need to train our bodies too. But the way that we can get the body and the mind united quickly is through the breath. So whenever you feel yourself scattered or down, the breath is a quick way to shift your frequency. So now let's try and take our frequency into a place of anchoring, of settling in, of grounding. And just expanding your belly, front, sides, and back, as well as the diaphragm, the upper back, and chest. You can allow the breath to come like a wave from the root, filling front, sides, and back of the low belly, up to the mid belly, the diaphragm, front, sides, and back, to the chest, front, sides, and back. Allow a natural little pause. And then exhale, let that balloon that you've blown air into deflate from the chest, upper back, diaphragm, mid-back. Don't forget the sides of the body, low belly, low back, root. So allowing the breath to come in, subtle pause at the top, and exhale out, just like a wave. Doing that a few times. And now let's add in counts. Beginning the training of our minds. Our minds are like wild horses or loud, crazy monkeys, and they need a job. So let's give them one. Inhale from the root to the chest, or even you could take it up to the crown of your head if you'd like that to add that visualization in. Inhale 1, 2, 3. We're going to exhale twice as long. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more like that. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Do it on your own. And just observing where you're at right now. Let's take a little inventory. How do you feel? How does your body feel? How does your mind feel? Breathing deeply and calmly, I'm going to invite you on a little journey in your mind's eye. So envisioning in your mind's eye that we're going through this wild wormhole. And as I saw it, it was neon, sparkles, and lights. The walls of this wormhole were like iridescent silver, bright, colorful, shiny. And the pace picks up as you go through this wormhole. And you have no idea where it's taking you. So it's asking you to give in to trust, to give in to faith, and to let go. And then it plops you out onto a beach. And there's no one there. This is a beach you've never seen before. This is a place you've never been before. Off in the distance in front of you is a beautiful hill peppered with tropical trees. In front of you is a beautiful beach. To your right is the ocean as well. There's a massive peace that surrounds you in this place. Every time you make a movement, your body feels completely interwoven with the space around it, connected to the space around it. It's almost as if you're kind of moving through a beautiful clear jelly that's just absorbing and absolving anything that doesn't fit, anything that's not necessary, anything that's not serving. And as you explore this area, this beach, this space, the water looks even different. Everything looks just a little different. And it's like 80% of you is fully here and welcoming this space. But then you feel your past attached to you through that wormhole in your upper back. And you hear a voice that says, "No, I'm done with that now." And just like you're tying off a sausage casing, you unattach the wormhole to your body, cauterize it by tying it into a knot, and let go. In dealing with these things that have come up from the past, for me personally, and flagellating myself for every wrong turn or mistake or misstep or, stupid phrase that I said or things that I did, I went back to each event as it came to and shifted my perspective on it. And instead of thinking, why did I do that? Why did that happen? Oh God, that feels so awful and gross and sticky. Looking at each one of those instances as they come up and shedding massive amounts of light on it, beautiful golden light, and realizing that that moment brought me to where I am now. It was the perfect thing to happen. It was the perfect time for it to happen. There's something I've thought about recently, and a lot actually, is the idea of good and bad, and that there is no such thing. It's just information. When we personalize things as to good or bad, that's when we get an opportunity to either inflate our egos or use our egos to deflate ourselves. So everything that has happened that has brought you to this place in life right now has been perfect. And the way of thinking and the way of being about the past and where you have been is now cauterized and tied off. From here on out, this is where you live. On this beach. The perfect journey brought you here. This place of solitude and connection. And you can come here anytime. Whenever you find yourself going down the rabbit hole of old thought processes that did not serve, of old energetic ways of being that don't support. This is where you take yourself. And spend as long as you like. All right, that's the message. That's the message. I'd love to connect with you. I'd hear if you could like and subscribe this or share this with anyone you think might need this message today. I'd be grateful for that. But I'd love to hear how it affected you, how this meditation affects you. Even if you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. You can connect with me on Instagram at Magnetize Your Light, on email at info@magnetizeyourlight. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a magical week.